The race was, I guess, also quite hectic and a bit unexpected. But yeah, I mean, of course, I'm happy for him.
Listen, guys, this Barcelona weekend for Max Verstappen is already a disaster, and the race hasn't even started yet. A shocking practice session, a brand new engine, secret Mercedes meetings happening behind closed doors, and a 9-time world champion calling Max a killer. This weekend has everything, so buckle up, because we are breaking down every single thing happening around Verstappen right now, and trust me, some of this will genuinely surprise you. Let's break it down. But before, if you want more updates and news on Max, then hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns. The Nightmare Friday. So let's start with what happened on track, because honestly it was painful to watch. Max finished P6 in FP2, almost a full second behind Lando Norris. Not half a second, not 0.6, 0.9 of a second on a Friday. That gap is enormous, and it immediately tells you that the RB22 is seriously struggling around Barcelona right now. After the session, Max didn't sugarcoat it at all. He said they are losing pace everywhere, high speed, low speed, every corner, every compound. Hard tires felt terrible, medium tires felt terrible, soft tires felt terrible. He literally asked his engineers mid-session if he could just stop the program early because the hard tires were so difficult to drive. And here's the thing, Max Verstappen, one of the most aggressive drivers on the grid, asking to come in early, that tells you everything about how bad the feeling in that car was. His exact words after the session were simple, but honestly quite worrying. We have a lot of work to do. Coming from Max, that's basically an alarm bell. The brand new engine now. Here's where it gets interesting, because that terrible Friday performance is actually connected to something bigger. Red Bull fitted a completely fresh power unit to the RB22 this weekend, a new ICE, new turbocharger, new exhaust, the works. Why? Because Max's Monaco Grand Prix ended before it even began. His engine literally died on the formation lap in Monaco, robbing him of what could have been a real fight for the win against Antonelli. Red Bull team principal Laurent Mekies came out and confirmed it was an engine failure. And he issued a pretty direct apology saying Max deserved a much better result after everything he had done to put the car in a strong qualifying position. The interesting thing here is that this new engine was already planned for Barcelona. Monaco was always going to be the last race for that first power unit, so Red Bull weren't panicking. They were always going to do this. But with a fresh engine now in the car, the question everyone is asking is, will it actually make a difference on Saturday and Sunday? Because Friday suggested the problem isn't just the engine, it's the whole package. The Mercedes rumors are getting loud. Okay, now let's get into the stuff that's happening away from the track, because this is where things get genuinely spicy. While Max and his manager Raymond Vermeulen were in meetings in Austria, Toto Wolff and Jos Verstappen, Max's father, were spotted together in the Netherlands. And before you say, maybe it's just a coincidence, remember that Wolff and Jos were also seen having a very intense conversation on the Mercedes hospitality terrace during the Canadian GP weekend just a week ago. 2 meetings, 2 different countries, in the span of about 10 days. That is not a coincidence, guys. That is a pattern. And when Toto Wolff is involved, nothing happens by accident. Mercedes are clearly keeping a very close relationship with the Verstappen camp, and whether that leads anywhere depends on what Red Bull can deliver in the second half of this season. If Max keeps finishing P6 on Fridays and retiring from races with engine failures, those conversations in Austria and the Netherlands are only going to get louder. The engine rule U-turn. Now shifting gears slightly, Max actually spoke about something really important this weekend regarding the 2026 regulations. The FIA has been working on changing the current 50-50 split between combustion and electrical power, and Verstappen has been one of the loudest voices pushing for a return to more combustion-focused power. The original proposal was to go back to 60-40 immediately, but manufacturers pushed back. So the final compromise is a gradual shift reaching 60-40 by 2028. Max said he welcomes the direction but is frustrated it's taking so long. He had previously said a 60-40 split was the absolute minimum he needed to feel good about Formula One's future. So this is a partial win for him, but not the full U-turn he was hoping for. Called a killer by a legend. Here's one that you probably didn't see coming. A 9-time world champion, yes, 9 times, has publicly branded Max Verstappen a killer on track. Now, the full context of that quote is something you genuinely need to look into because the details make it even more dramatic than just the headline. But the fact that someone with 9 world championships is using that kind of language about Max says a lot about how the rest of the paddock views his racing style, and it's going to make for a very interesting weekend atmosphere in Barcelona. The secret power strategy and turn 1 theory. 2 final things to keep in mind heading into qualifying and race day. First, there are suggestions that Red Bull ran with reduced engine modes on Friday deliberately, which would explain part of that shocking gap to the front. If that's true, Saturday's qualifying could look very different. Second, with Max starting from potentially deep in the grid, his only realistic path to a strong result might be through chaos at turn 1. Barcelona's opening corner has historically been a flashpoint, and if Max can survive it and gain positions early, the race opens up for him. If he doesn't, it could be another painful Sunday. What happens next? So let's bring it all together. Max had a nightmare Friday in Barcelona, nearly a second off the pace. Red Bull slapped in a brand new engine after that Monaco heartbreak. Meanwhile, the Mercedes rumors are heating up with Toto and Joe's meeting twice in 10 days. The engine regulations are shifting in Max's direction, but slowly. A 9-time world champion called him a killer, and Red Bull may have been hiding some pace on Friday deliberately. Honestly, my opinion, I think Max is still dangerous this weekend. Red Bull always seem to find something overnight, and a fresh engine gives them a genuine wild card. But if Saturday qualifying goes badly, the pressure on that Mercedes conversation is only going to grow. Here's the question I'll leave you with. If Red Bull doesn't deliver a podium in Barcelona, is Max Verstappen already starting to look over his shoulder at that Mercedes door? Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you think. See you in the next